The steamship Boston drove steadily northeast through the rolling grey waters of the English Channel, her iron hull shuddering rhythmically beneath the labouring beat of her engines. Unlike the graceful sailing barques moving slowly along the trade routes, the Boston had been built for industry rather than beauty. Thick black smoke poured continuously from her single funnel, while soot drifted aft across decks already stained by coal dust and salt spray. Her hull rode low in the water beneath the immense weight of her cargo, thousands of tons of Welsh steam coal bound for northern ports. Rust streaked her plates beneath the hawse pipes, and every exposed surface carried the hard wear of years spent battling Atlantic weather. Ahead of her, the sea rolled in long, heavy swells from the southwest. The sun had only just risen. A vast crimson glow spread across the eastern horizon, staining the undersides of scattered clouds blood red, while the ocean reflected streaks of copper and scarlet between the slow-moving rollers. The swells themselves were large but orderly, rising and falling beneath the Boston's bow, with the deep breathing motion of open water untouched by nearby land. Thin white spray drifted from the foredeck each time the steamer pushed into the troughs. High overhead, light clouds wandered across the brightening sky. Inside the pilot house, warmth from the engine room steam pipes fought against the cold dampness creeping through the glass windows. Brass instruments gleamed softly in the dawn light, while the wheel chains rattled faintly beneath the deck. Captain J.R. Barber stood beside the chart table with one hand braced against its edge. He was a heavily built man nearing 50, broad across the shoulders with weather-darkened skin and a thick beard flecked with grey. Years at sea had left deep creases at the corners of his eyes and a permanent stiffness in the way he carried himself during rough weather. He studied the compass briefly before lowering his gaze toward the chart spread beneath the swinging lamp. Beside him stood Navigation Officer Samuel Reed, a younger man with sandy hair and narrow spectacles perched low upon his nose. Reed carefully marked their position with brass dividers before drawing a pencil line northeast across the chart toward the English coast. "We're making better speed than expected through the night," Reed said. "Current's favourable." Captain Barber grunted softly. "How long to Eddystone?" Reed checked the chronometer hanging beside the chart table before making another calculation. "If the weather holds, sir, we should sight the Eddystone lighthouse sometime before dawn tomorrow. Plymouth shortly after morning light." Barber nodded once but remained silent. Beyond the pilot house windows, the sea continued its long, uneasy rolling beneath the crimson sunrise. The captain's eyes narrowed toward the horizon. "Don't like that sky," he muttered at last. Reed glanced outside. The eastern heavens burned a deeper shade of red now, smeared beneath scattered clouds drifting high above the channel. "Old sailor's warning?" Reed asked quietly. Barber folded his arms across his heavy coat. "Red sky at night, sailor's delight. Red sky in morning, sailors take warning." The younger officer gave a faint smile. "My father used to say the same." "Aye," Barber replied, "and men have stayed alive listening to it." Long before weather forecasts and wireless reports, sailors learned to read danger in the sea and sky themselves. A red sunset often meant clear weather approaching from the west, but a red sunrise could signal moisture and storm systems advancing eastward out of the Atlantic, the sort of weather that could turn the channel black within hours. Captain Barber looked again toward the southwest horizon. The rollers disturbed him more than the sky itself. They were too large for the existing wind. Somewhere far out beyond sight, heavy weather was already pushing its first swells across the Atlantic sea lanes toward England. The Boston continued northeast through the crimson dawn, smoke streaming from her funnel while her engines beat steadily below decks. Far to the south and beyond the curve of the horizon, the iron barque Charlwood was already standing out toward the open sea.